Greetings, fellow people. Rachel here, back with another video. That was a weird entry, but we're keeping it there because I'm a one-take wonder. Today, we are taking a look at Vortex 4 in Season 3 of Dragonheir. Now, a lot of the concepts, I guess, can be applied to any season that you are playing, whether it is 1, 2, or 3, and regardless of whether you are playing, regardless of affinity pairing, as it were. Now, I guess we'll start off and we'll talk about Vortex 4, and the differences between 3 and 4, as it were. So, like Vortex 3, Vortex 4 has a similar ruling, as it were. So this current week, or for the next 11 hours, bosses take an extra 30% more fire damage. Now, I personally do not have a fire team. It's not the best fire team. But you can still hit the 22.5 million mark that you need to get your top chest and things. However, Vortex 4 will also have another ruling on top of number 3. And this week is the ally with the highest accuracy on the team grants damage reduction to the highest team, providing 0.04% for every 1 accuracy they have, up to 20%. Now, if my math serves me well, if you get 500 accuracy, you'll get a 20% damage reduction. This is quite a nice thing to have. Again, regardless of elemental pairing, you might not get the bonus damage, which I don't, but you're still going to benefit from this, so that's quite a nice thing. If we look at the exclamation points, so we're going to look at the ones coming for next week. Bosses are going to take more damage from melee units, so that's kind of cool. And then when an ally with a shield is attacked, they deal damage equal to 30% of the consumed shield to the attacker. So, for me, this is going to probably benefit my team a fair chunk next week. Because I run 2 Ice Blast units in Girthin and Beldel. But this could also work if you run, in Season 3, it's Fire with Radiant. So if you're running an Ardreth Garius with a Thelendor, for example, well, that's going to be great for you next week because you've got 3 melee units. Chances are you're going to have Staff on Garius, so you're going to get the shields from that as well. So that could benefit quite a few people next week. And I like this because it's different. It encourages people to try and do different things each week. That doesn't mean to say that they will. Again, I'm a prime example this week. I'm not changing my team for the fire. But yeah, it keeps things fresh and things like that. Also, if we look at... actually, no, we'll go into the battle and we'll take a look from there. So, Vortex is still the same abilities. Accuracy requirement goes up, okay? He still can't be controlled. His first one, he's just an AoE to all damage units. Second one is he will smite the dude with the highest HP. Third one, I can't remember if Vortex 3 has this or not, but he does put defense penalty on the team for his third ability. So it will be good to have a cleanser of some sort. We can take a look at various options for that. And then his last one is when it's another AoE, and he gains a stack of the total damage bonus. When you get to 150, he ignores unkillable teams, okay? So that is the boss. So, like most bosses, ideally you want to bring an attack down if you can. And you want to be able to try and keep it consistent, again, if you can. Now, on my team, I only have 1 attack down. It's on a battle skill, which is not ideal. but it will help at least somewhat. You also want a cleanser if you can, as mentioned, for this defense penalty. So you take less damage. And the last thing you want to try and bring is some sort of defense down. So that is either your Crown of the Unclean, which will work fine on this boss because it's just the one target, or your Witch's Remains. Either of those will work fine. Those, I'd say, your three basic sort of principles, I guess, to try and bring if you can. Now, if we take a look at my team, now I have a double healer, and then I've got sort of 3 damage dealers. My Ogok is my cleanser and my attack penalty, but as I mentioned, it's not a battle skill, so it's not ideal. But essentially, Ogok's passive says, when he heals someone, he dispels a debuff from them. This, he sends out like a bouncing wave, which will both heal and hit enemies. So it will either cleanse my allies or put attack penalty up. This is unreliable. That's what I'm saying, it's not perfect, my team. But it does the job. Okay, the other thing he has is the immortality for the heal. Oh yeah, I suppose he's also in Horn to boost our damage. And I've got him in a Puppeteer set so he can share his defense with my squishier heroes. I've got Thenia here in the staff, a Tundra set for some haste, the Mythic set for sometimes increased healing, and then just whatever gloves. These are the skill haste ones which increase her attack, depending on the number of skill haste that she's got. So, yeah, I just thought that would be the best. And then I've got my 3 Ice Blast heroes. Shinna is wearing my Witch's Remains, because she has a multi-hit ultimate. I suppose that's something else to bear in mind. Witch's Remains has a percentage chance to apply. Crown of the Unclean is the same. It's a 60% chance. So having someone with a single hit ultimate, it's less reliable than someone like a Shinna who can have multiple attempts at putting it on, as it were. She also generates a load of ice crystals for my 2 damage dealers. So Girthin is in Revatrix Roots to boost her HP and her attack. Aerial set with the gloves that deal damage to people under defense down. And then Beldel doing Beldel things. Aerial set, Mythic gloves, and she is in the Blooms of Prina, which is the Ice Blast specific. Now, I just want to clarify that I am not the best at Vortex. I mean, arguably I'm not the best at this game in general. However, I have a basic understanding of things. I do not have a Rook. I do not have a Flora. I do have quite a few heroes here, but I don't have all, let's say, the greatest ones for Vortex. But this is enough to see me through. So if I look at my timings, okay, I have Ogok specifically using his ultimate, which gives me 5 seconds of immortality, to cover the first and second ability of the Vortex. Because it will... there's a slight delay on the first ability, so it doesn't actually cast at the 5-second mark. It casts at like 6 seconds, 6.5, something like that, which is why I have Ogok going at 26.2. So he will put hit up as the first swing comes in, which hopefully you will see, and it also covers the smite on my Girthin. Now that's only going to sort of be reliable for the first 150 stacks, and then the immortality will be ignored by the boss. But in theory, it should guarantee that I get to 150 stacks at least, because generally in most scenarios, the first hero to die is to that smite. Now, because my team's not great, I actually die before that becomes an issue, so it doesn't really matter too much in that scenario. And then Girthin has a bit of skill haste on her, so I've just slowed her ultimate down, to come in line with Beldel, and then Gerthin just goes ham. The same with Finia. Now, if I had someone who cleansed and put attack down on an ultimate, perhaps, let's say if you had Furbath in here to put your attack down, I'd probably time that to cover the last two abilities. And same with the cleanse, I'd have the cleanse to come up after the defense has been placed. But because I am lazy and this team gets me my 22.5 million, I haven't changed it apart from updating the gear from time to time. Now, it's important to note, I don't rank high on the leaderboard. I actually end up outside of the top 100 most of the time because I'm in a very competitive server. But don't lose heart, okay? The leaderboards for the Vortex, it's mostly an ego thing, in my opinion. The top 40 to 100 get 300 Echo of Clepsydra. Anything over 100 gets 220. And if you are 20 to 40, I think, it might even be 6 to 40, you get 350. In the grand scheme of things, the total Clepsydra you get from the Vortex boss in a season works out maybe 5-10% of your total score as the season goes at the end. Sorry, to move my tash out my mouth. Which is why I'm not too worried about it. My focus is on the chief challenges and otherworld bosses, because that is where the bulk of my score is. Last week I started 63rd. I scored quite highly in chief challenges, and I jumped up to 28. Now I have fallen a few spaces this week, but I expect to jump again in 12 hours time when it resets. So don't worry if your World 16 isn't the best. Yes, it helps with your total score at the end, but it's not the be-all, end-all. So there we are. I'm going to run my team here now, okay? Just going to slow it down for the first couple of rotations. And so the first ability, you say it's just a big swing. Then here comes the smite. Shin is then going to go. We've got the attack down, as you can see from my Ogok, but then it drops off. I say ideally you want the attack down here, and for the next ability, defense down goes up, and you'll see that, say, some of them cleansed off, but it's not the most reliable. And then there's the ultimate. So as you can see, we're past at least the 5-second mark before the ability has even hit us, okay? It comes in, say, probably about 6.5-7 seconds, so my immortality has stayed up for that second smite ability there. And there we are. That is, say, my rotation, and it will continue to run this through. And I normally get to about maybe around 100 stacks, somewhere between 75 and 82 million, something like that. So, as I say, the 150 immortality rule doesn't come into effect for me. Now, there are other options you can do. You can run unkillable comps with Zephy and Ogok, and a lot of people will do that at the beginning of the season where you only need a 3-man affinity. Now, arguably, I could score higher running unkillable. It's been a while since I've run it, so I don't know. But generally, as a rule, you want to, especially at this stage of the season where I have my Psyche Core, 5-man affinity tends to be better, because you get the damage bonus and the damage reduction as well in that tier 6 sort of range. So I'm going to leave this here. We'll let it run through. I'm going to pause the video. We'll come back at the very end once I've made a sandwich, and you don't want to watch sort of 6-7 minutes of this on repeat. But as you can see, this particular team's already at 16 million, near enough. So we're going to be well on our way to getting our 22 required for our sort of top chest. Anyway, I'll be back in a second. And we are back at the end of the run, so we scored 85 million, closer to 86. So I got a bit higher than I normally do, which is a pleasant surprise, but I'll take it. So I'm going to save this today, and we'll sort of see where it kind of puts me on the leaderboard. We did get to around 100 stacks, I think. Yeah, that's where we are. So we'll save that. 85.8. So we'll look at as you can see, all of the disgusting rook teams all sitting at the top here. And then Arslan, probably with his Dauntless. Oh no, he's gone for the Flora team because of the fire. So where does 85 put me? At the moment, 85.82 puts me in the 60s, but no doubtedly I will drop to beyond 100 as I normally do. Yesterday I got 81, I finished 110th, so there we are. That is sort of Vortex in a nutshell for you. So just quick recap. In most cases, you're going to want double support, triple damage dealer. You want attack down, defense down. Excuse me. And try and follow the Vortex 4 rules if you can. Obviously, if you've got heroes that can perform both roles, like Cinerel, for example, he is a support with attack down. Great. You've also got maybe like Furbath, who brings attack down and a cleanse on his battle skill as well, when attacking someone under a debuff, which you should have on the Vortex boss. So there are numerous heroes out there. As a quick reminder, if you're unsure on where to find heroes and what they do, you can go to the gallery. You can click the little thumbnail at the top here, and you can search what you're looking for. So let's say I'm looking for someone with an attack penalty and a dispel debuff. You can see your various options. So Argok's got it on his battle skill. Rose is a great candidate. Grace is a great candidate actually fulfilling 3 roles here. So she has a multi-hit ultimate, so she is great for defense down. Her ultimate also brings attack down, which is fantastic, and she has a cleanse on her ultimate as well. So really good choice here. You got some Furbath, you got Goom as well, and then you got your rare options as well. But just bear in mind, remember to double click them just to double check, because sometimes it's sort of just on themselves. So her passive is she gains a shield when her HP drops below a certain threshold. She's 100% chance of dispelling 1 debuff from her. Upon dispelling, the hero gains a shield. And then she has attack down on her ultimate. So she's not the best, but she does technically fit the criteria that we have said. So always double check. Anyway, that's me, guys. I hope you found this useful. Take care of yourselves, okay? Work hard, but remember to play harder. And I'll see you in another one soon. Cheers.